The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The New York Jets are on the clock in 8 days, and the latest betting odds seem to reflect a certain trend on what Vegas thinks the Jets will do. We'll talk about that and much more. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go. Second show on the day. If you missed it, Cole Thompson joined us in his weekly spot on the morning show. And joining us right now is a good friend of the channel. He made his guest debut in person at the NFL Scouting Combine. I hung out with him and the rest of the Badlands team at their live event in New York City last Friday. Paul Kilgallen joins the show. PK, welcome aboard, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me on. It's always good when people get my name right. You're 2 for 2 at this point. Grew up my whole life. Nobody ever got it right. So I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for having me on.
I do like people that also could go by their initials. Like PK is a really cool nickname to have. So for you being on air, it's like, oh, PK. It's like, that's awesome. Like I call Will Parkinson. I call him Will Paul all the time. Like it's perfect.
Will Paul 11 at TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
That's right. I made sure to remind him of that at the event on Friday. So for you, by the way, let's start with the event. I mean, that had to have been awesome, right? You're kind of like the main guy with Joe and Connor behind the scenes that assist with putting something like that together. Your thoughts on that? It's pretty crazy, on a Friday night in, early April to get that many Jet fans in one place, given just how damn awful it has been to really be a Jet fan these last 15 years.
Yeah, it was a pretty surreal evening. It's a testament, I think, to the community of Jets fans that we shared that that people are willing to show up and show out for that type of thing. It was a ton of fun. We had damn near 300 people in that room. We had originally, kind of had a goal of getting 100 people in a room together. So to 3X that and have to make the necessary adjustments, meaning changing venue and doing all those things to accommodate that extra audience. And we probably could have done more. Was pretty fun. And like I said, it was a little bit of a surreal moment for us where we were like, wow, it's, and I said as much on stage at the end of the night where, at least for me growing up in North Jersey, it was all Giants fans. Right. And then I go to college in New England and it's all Patriots fans. And so to know that the rest of us are out there, right, and there's this strong community that's just kind of lying underneath everywhere you go is awesome. And last Friday night was kind of a celebration of that, and I hope we can do it again.
Speaking of celebrations, Paul, you're certainly invited. But to every Jet fan out there, all the Badlands subscribers that also watch any content I put out, we're just 8 days away from our first ever Jake Asman Show draft watch party at Clinton Hall. Special guest Fireman Ed will be leading the Jet chant throughout the night. Buy a ticket. We got about 40 or so tickets remaining. So come on down and join us for an epic night in New York City. If you went to the Badlands event, you're watching this, Clinton Hall, not that far from where we just were this past Friday. So come on out and have a great time. I'll be doing the live show that night after the Jets pick right from Clinton Hall. We're going to have raffle giveaways and a whole lot more. So it should be fun. And your ticket, I should say this, includes a complimentary drink when you arrive. So keep that in mind as well. So, at this stage, Paul, you kind of look at where we are in this draft process, and I don't really know if much is going to change between now and next week. It kind of feels like the same players we've been talking about are ultimately going to be the same players that the Jets decide between. I guess the wild card in all this is a trade, and I'm personally someone who would love to see the Jets move back and get extra picks. I just think it might be tough to do. Where are you at in regards to the Jets being at 7? Do you see the pathway in any scenario where they actually can move back and get some picks.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we do end up with a trade, I don't think it's going to be something mind-bending where it's going down 10, 15, 20 picks or anything like that. I think if there is a possibility of something like that happen, it's going to be reminiscent of what we saw last year, which is like, hey, you know, the way the board's broken the first 7 or so, we're going to slide down 3 to 4 picks, and we're still going to get the guy that we want, and we're going to be able to recoup something in a later round, maybe something that we lost in the Aaron Rodgers trade or the Devontae Adams trade or something like that, trying to claw back kind of like a mid-tier asset in return to still get the guy that we think we can get at that spot. And I think the reason that that's a possibility is because at 7, right, we're talking Membu, we're talking Warren, and then after that, it gets a little murky, right? So let's say both of those guys are off the board, or let's say they're both on the board, right? Then you can slide down a spot or two. You could still be pretty confident. You have the Bears lurking behind you who could be a fit for Warren. But I think that depending on the way the early night breaks, that's going to determine what they do. And I think they probably have a few moves in their pocket ready for that. That being said, I could see it going a number of different directions. I just don't think it'll be anything drastic.
Where to you is the spot where the draft could get crazy in front of the Jets? Like, it feels like Cam Ward's going 1. Are you a believer that Cleveland is going to take either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, and whoever they don't take, the Giants would then take that other player at 3?
I just can't envision a scenario where that's not the top 3, right? Those are the 3 best players in the draft probably. And so when you get outside of that, it starts to feel like teams are reaching. Now, it's important to remember the teams that we're talking about here. We're talking about the Cleveland Browns. They're not necessarily a hotbed of good decisions and mental health throughout their tenure, right? And I think you could say the same about the Jaguars and the Raiders. Like, these are not teams that necessarily always do the right thing. The Raiders, you know, whether it's Haywood Bay or Jamarcus Russell or whoever it's been, like the Raiders reach and they make mistakes at times. Now, it's not saying that it's all the same decision makers there. Obviously, Pete Carroll's a very, very stabilizing force there, so that should change things. And I don't expect the Raiders to do something stupid or crazy. But the NFL draft's a weird thing, and sometimes people get enamored with players, and crazy things happen. So if I were the GM of the top 3 teams, yeah, Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, those are the top 3 picks going. But when you're working with these franchises, you could see things going a little funky, right? With the Giants, especially. Like, are you really saying that because you took Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson off the board, that means that you do not have to draft a quarterback now? I don't know if you can really say that. If you're a Giants fan, I don't know if I'm comfortable saying that. Now, the opposite of that is, do I want to take Shedeur Sanders at number 3? No, I don't want that either, right? So in that instance, I think it makes the most sense for the Giants to either try to slide down and get some more value with something else, or just like, don't be silly, right? And take Abdul Carter and take the best player off the board and pair him with Kayvon Thibodeau. And now you can rush the quarterback, right? And you can stay in every game, even if you're not scoring 30 points. So, man, I would have a hard time foreseeing a scenario where those are not the top 3 picks. And if they're not, something bad happens to somebody, right?
I mean, a Laramie Tunsil gas mask appearance,
Yep.
something wacky could happen. You're right. I do think it's interesting with the Raiders at 6. Everyone just assumes, oh, Ashton Genty. But what if they like throw a curveball and they take, one of the offensive tackles? Like, what if they throw a curveball and a team maybe is trying to trade up to get in front of the Jets, say, to take Tyler Warren, if they're, reports are accurate that the Jets are heavily considering him. Like, what if Membu potentially goes number 4 to New England? Like, to me, there's some real wild cards, but I do agree. I think the top 3 is going to end up being some chalk. I did pull up here, courtesy of Jets X Factor. Nick Faria did a good job kind of putting it all in one spot. These are the latest betting odds from DraftKings on who the Jets are most likely to select at pick 7. And you see the trend. I mean, Membu is a strong favorite here at minus 115 compared to the other options. Tyler Warren plus 280. Then a huge drop off with Graham at plus 650. Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle from Ohio State. I don't know if any Jet fans mentioned him once. Somehow he has the 4th highest odds here. So watch. Maybe that's who they end up taking. Plus 800. And then Shedeur Sanders at plus 1,000. Right now, Paul, if you were guessing, would you guess Membu would be the pick at 7?
No. And
Really?
that's why this whole board confuses me. I don't understand this at all. And I'm very much when Vegas is trying to tell you something, just believe them, like, guy. right? Like when there's a weird line on a Sunday game and you're like, why is this team getting 3 points against this team, right? I'm very much like hey, like Vegas is trying to tell you something, just listen and go with it. And so that makes me scared because why is the Warren odd at 280? That's the one that I can identify that does not make any sense to me. If it were me, I would be setting Warren and Membu as co-favorites at -110, right? And then Mason Graham, I think the only reason his odds are that high is because he's gone before that. Josh Simmons being the fourth best. Like if Membu's gone and you're dead set on offensive tackle, aren't you taking Kelvin Banks? Why are we going all the way
Will
down?
Campbell too, right? Like how do they
Exactly.
view him?
If you're going to include Mason Graham here as a guy who's probably gone already, why isn't Will Campbell included? So this whole board is very, very confusing to me. I get putting Shador on it as the long shot just to see if you can bait some people into, taking their money because that's what DraftKings does, right? But like the Josh Simmons and the Tyler Warren numbers are very, very strange to me. The fact that Will Campbell's not included, the fact that Kelvin Banks is not included, the fact that Genty's not included, I think is a little bit weird too. Why is Tet not included, right? Like these are all things that you could, if you're DraftKings, you could reasonably get Jets fans to bet on Tet, Genty, Will Campbell, Kelvin Banks, right? Like, so why is this happening? And if Tyler Warren is the odds-on favorite within the building, right, they stand to lose a lot of money with these odds. So all of it is very, very strange to me. I'm thrown off looking at this.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me. I will say this: Graham at plus 650. I actually think if I were to place a bet on this, is not terrible value because if there is a wild card in front of the Jets and say Graham doesn't make it to them, there is a chance they might say best player available, premium position. We need a DT. This guy's a tone setter, great leader for our defense. Glenn had Aiden Hutchinson in Michigan. Now he's got, this guy in Mason Graham for the Jets here in New York. Like there is a path where Mason Graham's the number one player they have on their board when they're up and they just take him. So I think plus 650, if he's there, it's not terrible value.
Yeah. And I would say the same for Warren, right? If you can get Tyler Warren at plus odds, especially plus 280, him and Graham are the value picks on this board.
Kind of crazy. Josh Simmons to me, to me, if they're going to go like outside the box pick, why not Kelvin Banks, who could play every position on the offensive line instead of Josh Simmons?
Exactly. And pretty much every board you look at has Kelvin Banks above Josh Simmons. So like, I don't know, that one, like I said, that's a little scary to me that he's even on there. I don't know what that's all about.
As far as the second round goes, PK, your thoughts on kind of the process there? I think so much of what I want to see them do in round two is contingent on what they do 100%. In night one. Like if they're going to take Warren, then I almost need a tackle or a wide receiver or a DT with the second and third round selections, right? Like I feel like if they take Membu, for example, well, then you better get me some weapons because right now you're Garrett Wilson injury away from being completely screwed. I don't care how good your line is or how effective you can maybe run the ball. If you can't have anyone get open, like this is not 2009 with Rex where you could just like ground and pound your way to win everybody. You're going to have to throw at some point. They don't have the weapons, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's completely contingent on how the first pick goes and potentially if they slide down or whatever they're going to do. So it's tough to predict right now. I know a lot of people love the guy out of Boston College, Ozzie, as an offensive lineman.
Trapillo.
Ozzie Trapillo, yep. I don't know. I just don't know if he's there. Right. Like, and that's why, like, not only are you dealing with the variance of the first pick at 7 or wherever it ends up being, but you're also dealing with the variance of the 40 picks before it and kind of like where all that falls. And like, maybe you're in a situation where you do what they did a couple years ago when they traded down and still grab Denzel Mims. Now I'm not defending that. I'm not saying that was a good move. You probably should have just grabbed somebody a little bit higher who was on your board at that point. But there are so many different variables that could happen. But I think, if you're trying to rank the Jets' top 4 needs, right, and we've kind of gamed this out on our pod a few times of like you're talking defensive line, you're talking wide receiver, tight end. We're kind of grouping it into pass catcher, and then we're talking offensive line, and we're talking safety, right? And like where I guess you, Jake, if you had to stack rank those 4, and feel free to break out wide receiver and tight end if you want and call it 5 positions, but like, where do you stack rank those needs? Because I think at the end of the day, if you stack rank those 1 to 5 and you take need 2 or need 3 in the first overall pick at 7, then like you have to get 1 in round 2. You have to get 1. And if you take 1 at the 7th overall pick, then you're looking at maybe a little bit of flexibility and choice between 2 and 3.
It's crazy. And just kind of the way they've handled free agency, it's like you can handle that way if like you're going to nail the draft. But they've kind of put themselves in a spot where I look at their first 3 picks, and maybe this is unfair because it's not easy to do, but that's how they've approached free agency. Where, look at like we're talking about high picks here. Pick 7, pick 42, pick 73. Like all 3 of those players need to be contributors at the bare minimum. 7's got to be obviously a day 1 starter who could really help you in year 1. 42 should be a legit starter, and 73 should at the bare minimum be a contributor that trends towards being a starter for this team for the long haul. Like that to me is so imperative. They can't fill every need in the draft. No team really can, but they got some glaring holes they got to really hit on 8 days from now.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think the one that disappoints me the most in terms of free agency is that it felt like there were a lot of run stuffing defensive linemen available to them.
Yep.
That you probably could have gotten. Now, some guys did get insane contracts. Javon Kinlaw getting 40 whatever million he got was like, I don't know how Washington justifies that. Like and that I think kind of put the DL market on its ear a little bit, and other guys started getting big money. But like Dalvin Tomlinson hung out there for a while. Like there were guys that you could have brought in just as a body. Now, maybe they really like McGregor. Maybe they really like Taylor. I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but maybe this coaching staff thinks that they can get something out of Clemens.
Ugh.
I don't, but maybe they do. So like maybe there's a reason that they didn't go after DL, but like, to me, if somebody like a Tyleik Williams from Ohio State is there at 42, like that's a pick I'd consider. I think as much as you can tell me about upside with Jalen Milroe, I'm fearful of a scenario where you do something at 7, whether it be, whoever it is, whether it's Warren or Membu or something else, and you slide down a few picks, and Milroe's hanging out there at 42, and all the draft coverage is starting to talk about when's Milroe going to go? When's Milroe going to go? And the Jets get up there on the board and they just can't resist the opportunity to gamble on the upside. Like, it's not that I'm so hard against that pick for the long term. It's just that it's not the pick I want to make right there, right? Like it's an uncomfortable pick that takes a few years to figure out if you were right or not. I mean, remember how the Eagles reacted to taking Jalen Hurts? Like, remember how the Eagles fans reacted to that? They were kind of mocked for that pick. And it took a little while to come to fruition. And now he's a Super Bowl winner and they were all right, but it took 4 or 5 years of serious doubting to get to that point. And I'm just not sure the Jets are in a strong enough position as an organization right now to like withstand that kind of wait time and that kind of turnaround time on a pretty major premium pick investment.
So you mentioned that you think they're going to end up taking Tyler Warren. I'd love that. Like I am someone that would be on board with Warren. I think personally they're going to take Membu because most of what I've wanted the Jets to do from, really since they started the hiring process to where we are now, they've done the opposite. So I would take Warren, but I think they're going to take Membu just for no other reason other than they've done basically the opposite of almost everything besides signing Fields after they moved on from Rodgers. So
isn't it our turn to have some fun, Jake? Like,
yeah, like I want to score
points. Can we just pick a fun guy?
Like, come on. And like, here's my thing too, right? And like, if there was an equivalent of a Tyler Warren, but a wide receiver there at 7, I'd say take the receiver. It's still somewhat risky, even with Bowers doing what he did last year, to take a tight end that high, but it just doesn't feel like the draft for that. So I hope they take Warren. I won't kill them if they take Membu. I get it. It just puts a lot of pressure on a regime that we have no idea about yet to nail some day 2 playmakers. Like, I could give everyone the list. Everyone's tired of me saying it. Like, Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims, Stonehand Stephen Hill, Chad Hansen, Adarius Stewart, Jay Samaro. Like, this team's inability to find any playmakers on day 2 and day 3. It's a major reason why they haven't made the playoffs since 2010. So if you take the lineman, that's fine. But like, everyone brings up Penei Sewell with the Lions, PK. Well, they also got Amon-Ra St. Brown in round 4. Like, that's a big part of the story people conveniently leave out with that draft in Detroit. So I'm just very anxious about, hey, you take the lineman, great, but then, okay, what's the plan at wide receiver or tight end after that?
And also, Penei Sewell was like, I'm not going to use the G word, generational, because that's way, way overused in draft coverage these days. But like Penei Sewell was like head and shoulders above anybody within several years of him in either direction in terms of an offensive line prospect. I like Membu. He's not Penei Sewell. The one, like, just trying to play devil's advocate and talk myself out of Tyler. And again, I'll just say it again, like, I am in Tyler Warren camp. Like, that's who I want to take. But trying to play devil's advocate and talk myself out of it, like, I could see a situation where maybe you take Membu or you take Kelvin Banks if Membu's gone, and then you try to work your way back up from 42 into the 20s or the 30s and see if you could take Colston Loveland, right? Or maybe you sit at 42 and take Mason Taylor, or maybe you take Terrence Ferguson down in like the 3rd round at the 73 pick. Or maybe you like wait even longer than that and you take Mitchell Evans in the 4th round. Like, there's other ways to address tight end. Like Mitchell Evans, I think, from Notre Dame, this is a name I've been banging the drum on for several months here as kind of an alternative plan to Warren. Mitchell Evans is, I think, among football fans who I think view tight end through a Travis Kelce lens. Mitchell Evans is not going to give you the Travis Kelce yak ability, the ball carrying ability. He's not going to give you that, but he is a way better blocker. He is pro ready day one. He's not going to take time to develop, and he catches absolutely everything that's thrown to him. So he is a complete tight end. He's not an idiot with the ball in his hands. He's just not Travis Kelce, right? And so I think that's what's kind of knocked him down into lower rounds, is that the modern NFL definition of a tight end kind of requires that running back ability with the ball in your hands. But I think that Mitchell Evans is a really, really, really good NFL pro who would be ready day one and would be an insane red zone threat because, again, he just catches absolutely everything that's thrown to him. He has vacuum cleaner hands. He's big. He can block the shit out of anybody. So there are alternative plans to tight end. So I guess what I'm saying is, if it's not Warren at 7, I'm not going to hit the panic button because I think there's other ways to address it, but it's still who I want.
Well said. Talking with Paul. If you have a question for him, write it in. Anything on the draft, anything on the Jets. Get to a couple super chats here. Then I want to ask you a question on Justin Fields. Thomas says, Paul, mother effing OG. Appreciate you, my guy. Rob says, love it when the Badlands dudes team up with Jake. Hell yeah. And I got quite the surprise for Asmaniac/Badland listeners that I'll share in just a couple of days. So stay tuned for that. Let's see. This one's from Weave the Dweeb. Hey, Jake, tell me I'm crazy, or does Beastbreaker look like Brendan Fraser's cousin from The Whale? Not trying to be mean, Beast. Just a general question. I see what you're doing there, Weave the Dweeb. I appreciate the super chat. For those who missed the first show today with Beastbreaker, it was something. Check the timestamps in the comments on the first show if you want to see what I'm talking about. Thomas writes in, talk me off the ledge of pairing Breece and Genty. All right, the Genty question. We talked a lot about this on Friday night at the Badlands event. PK, your thoughts on some of the Breece conversation that's out there? Do you see him on the 2025 Jets, and your thoughts on Genty as an option as well?
So, Thomas, I don't know if you have the ability to chat in again as I ask you a follow-up question, but I want to know what you mean by talk me off the ledge. Do you mean you don't want to do this, or you do want to do this and you're asking somebody to talk some sense into you? Either way, I'm going to start talking and I'll wait for your reply. So a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this point, my partner, Jake, different Jake, Badlands Jake, presented me with a scenario in which,
by the way, I should say this to you. I don't know if I told you this. So the amount of people that say to me, are you Jets Jake from the New Heights? I go, no, I'm not. That's a different Jet fan who's also named Jake. We're not all the same.
It's going to be a race to see who trademarks it first.
Jets Jake. It's so funny.
So he presented me with a scenario where Membu, Cam Ward, who else was it? It was Membu, Cam Ward, Tyler Warren, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham are gone. First 6 picks, right? And the question was, you can't trade back. Who are you taking, right? And Jake's position was he took Will Campbell. My position was I took Ashton Genty. And the reason was because I think that we want to score points, right? And you're coming from a 2-back system in Detroit where we have some of their coaches, whether it be Aaron Glenn or Tanner Engstrand, And I kind of got a little high imagining the possibility of pairing Breece with Genty together. Now, do I think that's a likely outcome of them together? No, I don't. I also don't think it's super likely that Breece is getting traded. So vis-a-vis, like, I don't think it's super likely that the Jets take Genty in any scenario. But I think if they did, you're probably looking at Breece being gone. Now, if we want to live in the fantasy world for a minute and talk about what it would be like to have those two players together, I think it's awesome, right? Like, I don't know if you have to play them at running back anymore. You could just move them all over the field. You make sure that you have Genty, Breece, Garrett Wilson, and let's pick a fourth guy on the field at all times. And you just say, hey, try to guess where the ball's going, because we have three insane athletes that are going to be spread out in three different positions in every formation, and just see what happens, right? Not only that, but we also have a quarterback who can run. So there's a fourth athlete on the field who you have to be terrified of at all times. So, like, do I think it's the worst idea in the world? No. I actually kind of like it. I think it's an opportunity to invent a creative, innovative offense that when you're dealing with a team that has, I don't want to say a weakness at the quarterback position, but let's say you're not in the top 10 of quarterbacks in the NFL. It's a way to mitigate that and do some kind of creative, funky things, kind of like a modern version of what the Wildcat was in the late 2000s, where teams who didn't have super good NFL pocket throwing quarterbacks were able to take advantage of something new that defenses weren't ready for and spring it on them and score some points, right? So I think you could get creative with something like that. Now, I don't think it's likely. I don't think it's happening. I also don't think it's necessarily the smartest thing for the Jets to do, to try to open up a new offense and introduce all this risk with everything else that the franchise is dealing with pretty much on a regular basis. So I'm not going to talk you off that ledge. I'm going to encourage it. I just don't think it's actually happening.
Is Breece on the 2025 Jets?
Yes. I don't. I believe that everything that you've heard is a deliberate plant by the coaching staff and the front office to motivate Breece. I think they see what we see, which is that Breece is an insanely talented individual who has a few flaws and inconsistencies, and I'll just name them. It's pass catching, right? He drops balls coming out of the backfield because he turns his head upfield too early, and he starts thinking about scoring touchdowns before he has the catch secured. Once in a while, he will fumble, and I think it's focus related. I don't think it's a Tiki Barber fumbling issue. I think it's a small focus related issue. And my biggest issue with Breece, and a lot of people will say that I'm being nitpicky here and that I'm focusing on the wrong things, but I just don't like the way that he speaks in press conferences after the games. It's a lot of excuse making. It's a lot of, I did my job and this is what else went wrong. And really what I want to hear, I don't always need to hear the truth, Breece. What I'd like to hear is, you know what, like we messed up as a unit. We got to get better. We got to score more points. Like, and I know that's boring and that's like coach speak, and it's not what fans want to hear. They want the more scintillating quotes, but what I don't want is Breece kind of indirectly blaming other people by saying that nothing was his fault. I want him to own it, and I want him to want to get better. Now, I understand that it's tough to be in this losing culture, especially with what it sounds like was going on in the Robert Saleh era. Now that we're beyond it and everything we hear is like pretty ugly. I'm not saying it's easy to be in that, and I'm not saying it's easy to be 22 years old and trying to figure out your professional career and sitting in the middle of that. I just like to hear more, and I think it's like a maturity thing. I think it'll come, and I think it depends on having the right players and the right coaches around you. So that's a long way of me saying that I think the coaches see all of that, and they know it's all correctable, and they know that the talent is undeniable. And why would you repeatedly say that you're in the business of keeping good players and then go and jettison a good player because of a few small flaws? So I think this is purely motivational. I think they're trying to light a fire under him, and I think he's on the team this year. Beyond that, I don't know. I think it's going to depend on what happens this year.
Couple quick ones for Paul before we wrap with him. But first, I want to remind everyone out there, we are accepting raffle entries. I added a new item to the raffle, a signed Darrelle Revis photo. Yesterday, Purple Belt Mike said, if you had a Revis photo, I'm in the raffle for $50 immediately. And on the first show, PBM was a man of his word. So a Revis signed photo has been added to go with a signed Sauce Gardner jersey, a signed Keyshawn Johnson helmet, a signed Al Toon helmet, and a signed Ken O'Brien jersey. So our theme in our raffle this week, Paul, is Jets first round picks. Who was, in your lifetime as a Jet fan, your favorite Jets first round selection?
Ooh, favorite Jets first round selection. I think I'm going to hit the way back button here and go Keyshawn Johnson. And it's something that I said at the live event the other night. It is for what he did for the organization. And what I mean by that is that he got here. This was, I don't know how many of your listeners went to Jets games at the old Meadowlands in the 90s. It was an ugly place. It was scary to be at as a child. I was terrified all the time. It was loud. It was ugly, like whole 9 yards. Right. And the place was, the fan base was dead and gutted out. And, they draft Keyshawn. And I remember, I believe it was his first home game. I've had a hard time finding this clip. But I believe it was his first home game. He scored a touchdown. He ripped off his helmet. He spiked it on the turf. And then he turned to the crowd and did like the gladiator thing. Like, are you entertained? And we were sitting up in our seats in 310. And me and my entire family were like, oh my God, like, who is this guy? We haven't seen this kind of energy here in a long time. And that was the beginning of the changing of the culture, right? The beginning of Parcells and Testaverde and Curtis Martin and all these guys who came in here and lifted this franchise up to be something that was very competitive in the late 90s and all the way through the early 2010s. And we have since bottomed out now, but that's the kind of thing that I'm searching for to happen again now with Aaron Glenn. And so for that reason, I will always look fondly on Keyshawn Johnson, despite the way it ended here.
That is a great answer. I was not expecting that. I thought you were going to go Revis. In my head, I was like, I know PK is a big Revis guy, but no, you went with Keyshawn. Good pick.
And that helmet that you showed, that signed helmet, was very sexy.
The old school, the throwback, which is now kind of the new logo. Like it's the current, which I love, by the way. So I'm fully on board with that. Thomas writes in 2000 draft. Still think Ellis most underrated Jet. I agree. Sean Ellis, incredible, super nice guy as well. I ran into him and several Jets players at Houston's at the Roosevelt Field Mall on Long Island in 2008, right after the Jets got Favre. He was having dinner with a couple other players on the team. David Harris, I remember, was one of them. And Sean Ellis and David Harris could not have been nicer. So I have fond memories of both those guys. I actually still have a Sean Ellis jersey somewhere in like parents' house back on Long Island. But yeah, I mean, and by the way, I want to give some love to a really good podcaster, Rich Samini tape that I listened to earlier. He had on the 4 guys from the 2000 draft class for the 25-year anniversary of that historic draft class for the Jets, the 4 first-rounders. No team has ever had 4 first-round picks in a single draft, and he had all 4 of those guys on his podcast, the Flight Deck Pod. So good job by Rich. Really good interview if you're a Jet fan. But, man, Sean Ellis, really underrated Jet, no doubt, Thomas.
Yeah, he gets overshadowed by John Abraham, and it's unfortunate because Sean Ellis put in 10-plus years of service to this organization. And
he had the longest tenure of any of the guys from that 2000 class.
Yep. And he was great. He was not hurt. He was always there. He was always around. And John Abraham, I think, was obviously the more talented of the 2 players, but he sat out of a playoff game because he was sick. Like he got, he chased the money down in Atlanta. And I think Sean Ellis is also just like one of the all-time good guys for the Jets, right? Like he just stuck around. He was great to the fans. And it always breaks my heart. Once in a while, I'll see him pop up in a Twitter thread that's like, it's like show a guy in a jersey that just looks unnatural, and I'll always add to it, and I'll throw Sean Ellis in a Patriots jersey in it because it just doesn't look right.
Yep, that is spot on, man. All right, question for you before we wrap up here: your expectations for the 2025 New York Jets. Forget the draft for a moment. Let's think ahead to the summer, and then we get to the fall. Jets getting set to start the 2025 season. By the time we get around to September, Paul, what are your expectations for the Jets this upcoming season?
Yeah, so I'm on the record saying this. I'm going to say it again. I think we're going to realize what the value of good coaching is. I don't think we truly appreciated how bad Robert Saleh was because of the quotes and the catchphrases, and because he was a handsome guy and he liked to get excited when they scored a touchdown and things like that. I think it masked up a lot of the very obvious issues that we all saw, but we weren't necessarily connecting to coaching. Like, how many times over the last 4 years did we wonder, why are they coming out flat every single week? Why does it take a second half comeback all the time just to be in contention? why are we scoring 13 points every game? Like a lot of those things we were attributing to talent or other things. Like we kept wanting to point the finger in other directions when the easiest answer the whole time was it's the coaching. They're not prepared and they're not doing a good job during the week. And no matter how many times you tell me in a press conference that we put in a great week of work, at a certain point we need to see it or else you're just lying. And so I'll dovetail that into what I think about this season by saying, I think not only do I think that Aaron Glenn is a good coach and that he's going to get things going on the right track, but I think that any coaching change probably would have provided a little bit of a bump. I think, unfortunately, the reason that the Ulbrich thing didn't was because like they found the one guy who might have been worse than Saleh, right? And that's really, really unfortunate. But like, I wonder, had you gone off to Ron Middleton in the middle of the season,
Right.
might you have experienced a different bounce? So I think just by virtue of changing the coaching and the culture alone, we'll probably get a bounce. But I also think that Aaron Glenn's very good. And I think without the weight of Aaron Rodgers and the end of Aaron Rodgers' career sitting around the neck of the franchise, I think that they will play freer. They'll play looser. They'll come out of the tunnel ready to play, ready to punch somebody in the mouth. And while they won't be as talented as they were the last couple of years, I think they will eke their way to more wins. And we finish somewhere in that 9-8 area. And in a perfect world, we'll find a way to backdoor into the wild card.
Your expectations for Justin Fields, then, if that's something you foresee.
Do you want numbers or do you want kind of general narrative?
I always think numbers is tough. If you want to put numbers on it, feel free. I've been asked that before, and I'm like, I don't know. Can he throw 20 touchdowns and run for another 7? I don't know. I just what do you think it's going to look like with him kind of as the quarterback, the offense? Like, are we going to look back and say, hey, he had a good year for the Jets? The same way like Fitzpatrick in 2015. Like we know really good quarterback play when we saw it. Like, and he also had pretty good stats too. Like, how do you like just picture it working out with Fields?
I think at the end of the year, we look back on the acquisition of Fields and we say that was the right move to make at the time. I don't necessarily think that we all are going to be lining up to give Justin Fields a long-term extension at the end of the year because I think he still has work to do. And I could be wrong, and maybe he dispels all those things this season and he does become a long-term solution at quarterback. But you look at even what Sam Darnold did in Minnesota, and as well as he played, he didn't earn a long-term extension from the team that had him, right? So I think it's a pretty steep hill to climb in terms of that. But I do think we will look back at it and we'll say, hey, with what was on the board at the time, both in the draft and in free agency, we made the right call bringing Justin Fields in. And this is a good guy who we all wanted to rally behind. And the players seem to identify with him and want to follow his leadership. And I think in that sense, it works out. And I think numbers wise, you're probably looking at about 800 yards rushing. And, you know, if he can eke his way to just short of 3,000 yards passing somehow, and the touchdowns and the interceptions, if he can keep the ratio to about 3-1, like I feel like that's a success. But I think that we're going to be happy with the player that we got. And I think that's about all you can ask for when you're kind of gambling with a reclamation project like this. Well
said, Paul. Appreciate you, man. Great to hang out with you last Friday. Meet your wife, who's awesome as well. And she might be watching the show again. So shout out to your wife if she's tuned in. Awesome stuff, man. Appreciate you and continued success with Badlands and everything you guys are doing over there.
Ditto, Jake. Your event's going to be great. Everybody should definitely go to that. And we'll see you all guys soon.
Paul Kilgallen from Badlands with us there. He does a good job. Him, Joe, Will, Connor, the entire team there. Dan, Meegs, everyone. Really good dudes, too. A lot of fun. Last Friday night, and a bunch of Asmaniacs were there, too. So it was really cool. Hang out with a bunch of listeners last Friday. Let's see. Super Chats will cut the line. Greg wrote in, will we be happy on draft day? I hope. I think we could be happy at 7, but then there's going to be but let's see what they do now in the second round. Right? Like that to me is so important. It's a very unique situation for the Jets. It's a team that is good enough if everything clicks where they could be fighting for a playoff spot, but they have to crush this draft. And like one pick doesn't define a draft. Charles Gorman writes in, what is up, everybody? Dave Briga, Oscar the Grouch. Hey, how is Dave Briga not a channel member? What is this? What are we doing here? Prestige writes in, got a feeling Membu and Campbell might not be there at 7. Well, then take Warren or trade out. That's what I would do. I know people like Graham. I'd rather see if someone will come up for Graham. Charleston Jets Rube. I found myself humming One Punch Briga in the shower yesterday. It's a very catchy song. Very catchy song. Now, I want to bring this up as well. So earlier on the show, or on the first show today, a lot of talk about Beast Breaker's guinea pig, Little Joey. That's the name of his pet. We want to pay homage to Beast's beautiful animal. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to share that if we get 23 memberships, that's what YouTube's telling me, our next channel emoji, our next Edgemo, as Keith Best would say, is the Little Joey emoji. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is Little Joey himself. Beast, how are you?
He's doing good. I'm just giving him his rubs right now. He's getting crabby and antsy.
We want Little Joey to be a regular on the show, Beast. What do you say?
Hey, it depends on how he feels. He's just a little boy. He's 8 months old. You ready for some food? Here he is, everybody. There he is.
What do you think of the Little Joey emoji?
Oh yeah. Hey, he likes his food. Yeah, he's just biting my t-shirt and he's telling me he's hungry. Yeah, I know what he wants. You want food, don't you? Yeah. He knows he's hungry because he wants his cucumber right now. I just went over the foodful lesson, got my asparagus already. I had a little fun. It's just I need to go out and guess what died today? It's official. The belt is dead. It's okay. It's okay. All right, little guy. Let's get you on home. You ready? Here we go. Incoming landing. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, here you go. All right, let's go to another caller. I'm trying to get him prepared here. He's getting his din right now. But
Peacemaker 6666 runs the dark online, but his heart stirs in forbidden time. A guinea pig, small with furrowed gold. His love a secret that he can't uphold. Oh, forbidden furry love. Not a mess the stars dreamt of. Through the chaos and the hate, his tiny heart is his soulmate. Oh, forbidden furry love. Not a mess the stars dreamt of. Through the chaos and the hate, his tiny heart is his soulmate. Chasing shadows, barking threats online. But in his room, love crosses the line. Tiny whiskers, little soulful eyes. A bond so pure, a love they disguise. Oh, forbidden furry love. Furry love. Not a mess the stars dreamt of. Through the chaos and the hate, his tiny heart is his soulmate. His tiny heart is his soulmate.
What a song. Shout out to Lil Joey. We get the next memberships we need. Lil Joey will be our next channel emoji. What a world we live in. All right, to your calls we go. Purple Belt Mike is first up today. Mike, props to you. You were a man of your word. You said Revis jersey. I'm in the raffle for 50 for Revis item, and now I hope you have a chance. I hope you win it, man. You deserve it. Appreciate you.
I want to win it, actually. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You can't say you haven't won good stuff before, though. You probably won one of the best prizes to date with one of the Namath helmets.
I won the Namath helmet. I won a sweatshirt. And I also won the glass I always drink out of, the Asmaniac glass.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. Yeah, I've done well. Not going to lie. Shit. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I could tell Beast is an animal lover, which is good. I like
He loves
animals
Little
better.
Joey.
I know. I like animals better than people. But I do got to say, I didn't realize Mimosa didn't have an emoji. So she deserves one over me. So she can get my spot because she
Well-
deserves it more than I do. She donates way more than me. So
Well, it's interesting because there's a delineation with like callers and the memberships. Like the memberships, like we made sure like Mimosa had to get a video, but Mimosa doesn't call in a lot, and a lot of times people use the emojis when like someone calls in. So like anytime you're on, everyone's
I
now
see.
hitting the PBM emoji. So
I see.
yeah, if it was up to me, everyone who was in as Maniac Madness would get an emoji, but YouTube makes you hit certain membership numbers to then add more, which is a huge pain in the ass.
Gotcha. So yeah, you're limited to whatever it is. I see.
I think we have like 37 emojis right now.
Yeah, they're all pretty awesome though.
Wow.
The little Joey one made me laugh. Who made that?
Gator sent me this after the show today.
Yeah, I like how you get the 666 stuff. What else I found ironic was Beast was talking about Easter, but he has 666 in his name. It made me laugh too.
Beast is quite the character, let me tell you.
Yeah. That whole skit, I watched it 3 times this morning. It was awesome.
This morning's show was a wild one. One for the
Yeah, that was the best.
Neil's got some explaining to do to Beast Breaker.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Is Neil on? Call in. I want Neil to call in. All right, Jake. I'll catch you later, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, Purple Belt Mike checking in. Big fella says, PBM, you deserve your emoji. Yeah, amen, big fella. PBM definitely deserves it. Without Purple Belt Mike, Charles Gorman would have nothing right now. Mike saved the day that day. Here was another fan-submitted poster of Beast and Little Joey. You guys tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. All right. More of your calls right now, shall we? Let's say hello to Pork of the Morning. Hello, Pork.
Hey, Jake, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, Pork.
Look what I just scored at the Indian joint down the street. Check that out.
Nice.
$15, man.
Looks like a Rolex to me.
It's the closest thing I'll ever get to one. You know what I mean? So how's it going, Jake? How's Beast doing? He's doing better?
I think he's doing all right.
You know, it looks like his animal was doing well. I can see.
Little Joey looks like he could eat.
Yeah.
I'd call him Fat Joey, but I won't say that.
Well, he is kind of fat. I mean, what's wrong with telling the truth? I could call him Round Joey. I mean, he is kind of chunky. We're talking about favorite first-round picks, Keyshawn Johnson. Yeah, he was one of them.
Keyshawn had one of the great playoff games in Jet history in '98 against the Jaguars.
Probably the best. I mean, maybe Freeman McNeil had a better one, but
he threw a touchdown that day. He had a rushing touchdown. He had a receiving touchdown,
fumble,
and he recovered a fumble.
Interception.
Yep, and he had the pick.
At the end. Yeah, so that's probably one of the greatest ever. I mean, in a divisional playoff game anyway. I watched that in the desert. That was an amazing game. And then I had to be on tour. I mean, on duty for the other game, but I was able to watch it in the tower. But we lost, so that sucked.
I just can't imagine. I'm too young to fully remember '98 and like grasp what was like. I can't imagine the Jets being 12-4 and like what that was like every week. Like you're just winning, like because they were 0-2 and then they went on the run. It's like really after the first 2 weeks, you only experienced losing in the regular season twice the whole rest of the way. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, and the games that we lost. I mean, we lost to Indianapolis on like Peyton's first comeback ever. So that's oddly the game that Aaron Glenn returned that touchdown.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the 98 season was an amazing one. 99 was such a heartbreaker. I don't know if you remember that. I mean, my heart broke on that first when Vinny got hurt, when he blew out that Achilles, man. Holy shit.
Well, that's the thing, too. And then we go through something eerily similar with Rodgers, 2 years ago. It never ends.
No, it never ends. Check out this old Curtis Martin jersey. This is 25 years old. Logo 7. You ever hear that? Remember that jersey?
I don't even remember that. That's awesome.
Some of the guys in the chat will remember that. Well, look, it's stretchy and shit. It's a nice jersey. It lasted 25 years, So it's been on a lot of chicks. I know that. A lot of broads wore this shirt.
Pork of the Morning. Hey, now.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, we're all who we are. So with that, Jake, I think my boss is going to call me here in about 2 minutes. I don't want to get caught, shagging a dog, so peace out, guys. I love yous. Go Jets. Jet life to the next line.
Pork of the morning checking in. Good start to the day. More of your calls right now. Australian Jets fan is next. Hello, AJF.
Hey Jake, I got to be kind of honest. I low-key just sitting here pretty much every show now. Like even if I don't have anything to say,
So you're basically Bobby Midnighting it, where you just sit around
pretty
and
much,
you get thrown on the
pretty
air,
much.
and then you ask me, how am I doing? I'm supposed to ask you how scratching your ass going and whatever else,
Yeah, like it's kind of crazy to think that I probably wouldn't be here if I didn't have appendix surgery. Like I'm just thinking of the whole like butterfly effect. Like I've before like recently when I was still living in Australia, I had called into the show a few times and like would watch during like sort of the start of the season, the first couple of games. I remember calling in, I think when we lost to the Patriots was the first time I called in. But then I got busy with school and stuff, and then when I after I had surgery, I couldn't really move much, so I was pretty much just like bedridden, and I was just on my computer. And then all of a sudden, I started watching the show again, and then just started calling in. And now when I pretty much do nothing all day, I either just like make stuff on Photoshop, practice DJing, and then wait for the show, and then just sit in here and watch the show. It's pretty much my daily routine at the moment.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you tuning in. Jay Quest wants to know, why are we getting the history of his calls? Jay Quest seems like he's really enjoying it. So AJF, the floor is yours. Tell us about every phone call you've ever made, not to this show, but in life in
Oh,
general.
okay. Geez. Okay, I haven't really kept track, but I appreciate the support, JQuest. So I guess I remember I think I called in after the Jags game as well. That was when I came back from Bali. I couldn't watch any games in Bali because all my illegal websites were blocked. Um and then I called in after the Texans game. That was pretty cool. I called in earlier today. I called in yesterday. Um, Pretty much almost every show since sort of as Maniac Madness started, sort of halfway through the first round. I've called in. Um, I guess I was on the phone to my mom the other day as well. And my dad. They Did I get the girl's number from the rave? Okay, so I was actually there with a girl I already knew, and basically she knows about the show, but I've told her about the show, and I said that I'm gonna call in when we go out on Friday night. I tried to call in the week before, but Jake didn't do a show on that Saturday night, but we went out on Friday, so that worked. Where's the sauna? Okay, so sort of this is like kind of like my bedroom, right? This isn't like the same building as like the main house. Um, and then in here, where's the light? There we go. In here is the sauna. This is the shower. The sauna in here. I've called in from here before as well. Um, yeah, crikey, this is boring. Have a sook right over the storm. If you don't enjoy it, you can leave. No one's asking you to sit and watch. Um, you know. So if you're just gonna complain, I guess you're not welcome here.
Well said. AJF, we appreciate your support as always.
No worries. See you at the draft party.
Can't wait. I mean, he's coming from Finland, folks. You got to respect that passion. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Jeffrey in the raffle for 5. Jake, the offseason's horrible, bro, but you make it tolerable. Use this to gift our godfather, Don One Briga, a goddarn membership. My iPad prevents me from achieving true gifting achievement. Jeffrey, I wish I could just give Briga a membership. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. You have to just gift and hope that the algorithm just knows to give it to One Punch Briga. Now, I will say this. I'm going to try and manifest it. So no one's gifted a membership yet, but don't do it yet. If you are going to gift and try and get in the raffle, don't do it yet. I'll tell you what I'm going to do first. to try and manifest a Brigga gifted membership to the show. I'm first going to play this.
He thinks that Charles and Bobby need to get a job. This cowboy hates to see us maniacs complain. What he call it, one punch Brigga. You need to get a job. What he call him, one punch Brigga. The beast is on his ass. Call him one punch Brigga. Does anyone see me Mac? Call him one punch Brigga. He'll only need one.
There you have it. Will that help Brigga get a membership? I don't know. But we're going to try. More of your calls right now. Let's say hi to Kyle Clifton, who's next. Hey, Kyle.
So, Jake, there's nothing hotter than a woman that comes out of the bathroom in your oversized Curtis Martin jersey. That's it's pretty good.
Well, with you, it was a Clifton jersey, obviously.
Yeah, right. I want to ask you about a question that you had asked Kilgallen, which was about your favorite Jets #1 draft pick. Is that in retrospect or at the moment of the pick? Because we know that that's very different, right?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was thinking in terms of like in retrospect, like when you look back on your time as a fan, essentially, who's your favorite player that was a first-round pick by the Jets?
Right. You know,
Kyle Clifton, not with us. Knocked off the air. What happened there? We don't know. Beast, what happened there, Beast?
He might have had a bad signal. He's going to have to go check his signals and do a restart.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Give us a little beeble bop and see if that restarts it.
Beep, 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 bop.
We'll see. We'll see if that worked. I think it did. Kyle, are you with us?
yeah, I'm going to dinner with my mother in a little bit, and she.
Oh, no. Now we can't hear you. No.
Tyrese for you.
Wait. There we go.
I'll
Now
call
I
it.
hear you.
Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of different. Like Revis, like no one really knew that Revis was going to be Revis when we traded up for him. You know, we were all hopeful, but you know, I looked at two guys that were like 34 years apart. Back in '85, I was very enthusiastic to draft Altoon, and then in 2019, Quinnen again was another guy. I'm like, that's the guy we should be taking there. And that's kind of what I wanted to throw out there. The interesting scenario with Genty, if he's the guy on the board and all the other players that we like are gone, I guess you take them, but you better have a plan. There's got to be something where you're able to trade one of the other backs and get another asset later in the draft, and you know, you have to be able to use both of those backs simultaneously, like we were discussing with Paul. It's something that could happen. It's something that I think is increasingly likely because I don't know if you saw Albert Breer. He was saying that he thinks that the Raiders are going in a different direction than Genty. And I think he's pretty plugged in. So I wanted to hear what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, I wonder what direction that would be. I mean, would they take a tackle there? Like, would they take Membu? Like, that's interesting.
He was saying trenches on the other side of the ball. Yeah. So
Graham could make some sense. They put him next to Mason Crosby if they want, but they also signed Wilkins a few years ago, so they still have him.
I'm going to go give my poor mother a call back since I'm ducking her phone call because I'm on YouTube. I appreciate it.
Kyle, we appreciate you. I'm telling you, that call was powered by Beast Breakers, Beeble Bop, getting that internet connection fixed. Let's see. Did I miss any super chats? I don't think I did. Peter Casher says, Neil, did you drown two pigs? For those who missed it, Neil told a story about an incident he had with two guinea pigs that I guess he bought for his kids as pets. Let's just say Peter wouldn't be thrilled with Neil. God. Neither was Beast, by the way. A very emotional Beast. Didn't take kindly to that story. More of your calls right now. Radical Bongos is on the line. Hello, Radical Bongos.
Hey, Jake, what's going on, man?
Where have you been, Radical?
It's a lot of work, and then after the season, you just go into a hole, and I've just finally been coming out of that hole. Just all right, time to regroup. Let's see what this season brings. But after this morning's emotional show, I just want to bring some humor. Uh, I just want to make it official that if we do get more than 5 wins, I will get a Jets tattoo. No butt tattoos, no tramp stamps, but somewhere. And I just want to ask again about
Why 5 wins? Like that is like they should definitely
well,
win more than 5. Like that's a very low bar.
that's where the bar has to sit. There's no
So you really
we have
want
to
this
keep it.
tattoo then? It's not like you're saying if they make the playoffs, I'll get it. Like
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt, but some incentive. It's nice to.
if they don't win 5 games and I joke about smelling 4 wins, but like at the bare minimum, they should at least win 6 games. Like I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll see what the draft is.
Hopefully, it's 6 or 7, but 5. If we can hit that, that's a win for me. If
No,
they
it's not.
don't, no.
You're gonna be satisfied with 5 wins.
God, it's with a new regime.
5 win a new regime. This is what I mean. New regime. No, not stop. Not new regime. Daniel Jones made the playoffs first year of a new regime with the Giants with Dable and Shane. Enough, man. New regime. Win football games. They haven't won more than 7 in 10 years. Don't fall into the new regime. It's going to take time to build it the right way. That's such BS. Look at the amount of teams that instantly turn it around in year 1 of a new coach or GM. Like it could be done. It used to be done with the Jets. They made the playoffs with Herm in 01 in his first year. They made the playoffs with Mangini in 06 in his first year. Rex in 09. Even Bulls won 10 games in 2015. I can't do it anymore, man. 5 wins and you're saying it's good? What?
Just it's. I'm just here to see the Jets win. Any win at this point.
5 games,
my bar is so low
the Jets
for these
love
guys.
You, man. They love you, man. I mean,
God.
5 wins. Oh my God.
It's just. I've gone through so much with these guys, man. Every year, it's like, here we go, see what they pull out. And I think with Rodgers, it was such an emotional roller coaster there, man. So it's just, at this point,
all you need to know is this. Alan writes in 5 wins and build to 2026. That's all you need to know. You're on the side of Alan. Radical, I'm getting you off the air because 1, your take is a disgrace, and 2, your audio was a little bad with the win there. But I appreciate you watching. But no, man, have some expectations to go 8-9 at the minimum. 9-8 is my goal. Have a winning season. Why not? How many teams have the amount of Pro Bowl level players on defense the Jets already do? Not many. Go look. You have a legit number 1 receiver, a legit running back. You have a decent starting place with your O-line. Let's crush this draft and have some good coaching and win 9 games next year. Why not? We're going to settle for 5 wins and call that good? Oh, my God. See you later. Oh, the goal should be 9-8, 10-7, make the playoffs. On average, 4 teams a year make the playoffs that didn't the previous year. The Jets are never one of those teams, but hopefully they can be. That's what my hope is. I'm not going into the year they go 5-5-12. It's fine. Jay Quest says, Jake, I'm getting a tattoo of Justin Fields throws 3 touchdowns for the season. Yeah, I mean, that's basically the equivalent of I'm going to get a tattoo if they win 5 games. It's just this team won 7 2 years ago with Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, and Trevor Siemian. Come on. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Reminder, our next emoji with 23 memberships gifted is Little Joey. Knob Deep writes in, I'll get a Jake Asman tattoo if the Jets win 12-plus games and Jake moves in the Midnight Twins into his house for a year. Well, I don't own a house, Knob, so that's the problem. Unfortunately, my apartment is not big enough for the Midnight Brothers. Ryan is on the line. He's next. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, what's going on, Jake?
What's up, Ryan?
That last caller is absolutely crazy.
5 wins, and he's like, it's great. I'm like, what?
I'm pushing for 10-7, maybe 11-6. That's my hopes. But
Should be.
yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I wouldn't settle for 5 wins ever. I never want 5 wins. But what's going on?
I don't know, man. You called in. Like,
Saying what's up. I'm very much looking forward to the draft party. Can't wait to have some beers with all the boys in the chats. And
what about the ladies?
Well, I'm bringing my old lady, so I'll leave the 4.5%ers to you guys.
So your lady won't be okay with you talking to other female Jet fans at the party?
Talking, yes, but
What do you think's gonna happen at this, Ryan?
I don't know. I'm not saying anything like crazy, but I'm not looking to,
Look, there are 2 people you got to be concerned about with your wife coming. One of them is this guy, and then the other guy is this guy. All right. If you're careful with both of them,
I'm not a woman stealer.
you'll be all right.
Whatever Jake is telling you is a lie.
Yeah, just be careful. All right. Gorman's a loose cannon. Bobby Midnight's gonna be all up on your girl. Yeah.
How's it, Bobby? Can we just throw this quick one on real quick? Just I got a salient point or 2.
Now you got some points. About time.
Damn. You let me know when you can hear me.
I got you.
Yeah, I overall still want Warren at 7. I would love to have a nice weapon for the team. I feel like he'd bring a lot to, Justin Fields. He'd help the run game tremendously. I'm still looking for that. And if not, I'd like to go Membo. Either Warren or Membo. That's really what I want in the first pick. Is that what you're trying to get?
Warren or Membo, but my number 1 choice is trading down.
Oh, really? All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens on the 24th, man. I'm just glad we're all going to be there together and go Jets, go Asmaniacs. I can't wait to have a good time on the 24th.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan checking in. He'll be ready with the helmet on at the draft party, and hopefully Charles Gorman does not steal his woman. God. This helmet is huge. And Ryan, you better have real points when you call in, man, because to get the helmet on when I'm not prepared for it, it's a whole production. But I look forward to seeing you. What do we got here? PBM. We'll know who the swingers are if they wear shirts with pineapples. It's true. Indy, the Jake Asman swinger party. It's true. New Q says, can you guys pay for an escort to hang out with Charles? So that was the plan, but unfortunately, all of us gave our money just to basically refund Charles post being catfished. So we're all out of money. In fact, I'm not even making any money on this party now. I'm just trying to break even. Brutal. Any updates on Jermaine Johnson? The only update we've gotten on him is that he should be able to participate in the offseason program and should be, full go in training camp. But they're going to keep him on a reps count. They're going to ease him back. They're not just going to put everything on him right away. Black Gypsy says, Gorman is looking for romance that he doesn't have to pay for. LOL, too soon, my bad. Dude, Black Gypsy's was going up and in on everyone in the chat. Most notably, Beastbreaker. The Beastbreaker Black Gypsy rivalry is real. In fact, Black Gypsy was the one who made this image that you see on the screen. The Bat Fella says, Flatulator, you will not steal Ryan's lady. Well done, Bat Fella. Ryan says, I'll try to have better points, Jake. Now, Ryan, your points are usually fine. I'm just saying, it's a whole production for me to put the helmet on. I got to take the headphones off. I got to boost the volume. If I'm doing that, we need some good takes. Beastbreaker says, Black Gypsy 420, he's a putz. Strong take there. All right, more of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's check in with one of the greats, the number 1 seed in the 2025 Asmaniac Madness tournament.
You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. I'm not saying that Lowski takes steroids. Give me some of it. Hey, Charles! Who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, Charles!
Hey, Jake. I don't know why you're stirring the pot again with me stealing people's men's women. I'm not that type of person.
Well, you walk into a room and ladies obviously, they show
That
you a
is
lot of
not
love.
true.
Whoa, it's Mr. Steal Your Girl. Mr. Steal Your Girl.
I don't do that in real life often, trust me.
Only on the internet?
No, neither.
So neither in real life or virtually.
No.
They're saying Derek Jeter is jealous of your aura.
Whatever, dude. Anyway,
Whatever,
I think
dude.
a lot
Wow.
of these Jet fans should be a lot more optimistic than they are. For them to celebrate 5 wins, I think is a disgrace. I think, first-year head coaches have made the playoffs in their first year. I mean, look what Brian Dable did. He won 9 games with Daniel Jones, and they made the playoffs, and they beat Minnesota. So, look at we made the first-year playoffs with Mangini in his first year. We made the playoffs with Rex Ryan in his first year. We made the playoffs with Herman Edwards his first year. So it can be done. These people are acting like we don't have enough talent. We have talent. We just need to add more. We have a number 1 receiver in Garrett Wilson. We got a solid backfield in Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, and Isaiah Davis. We just need to buff up the wide receiver room and the tight end room. And we need to add more depth to the offensive line. We need to add some more talent to the defense. And we'll be fine. And hopefully we get a reliable kicker that isn't too old, that is more consistent. Someone maybe like an Austin Seibert, perhaps. I'm going to change this fucking name. Hold on. Are we actually done with this bullshit, or we're actually going to talk some football? Jake, are you there? Jake? Do 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 do. You can tell I'm doing the Jeopardy music. Jake? Are you there? Jake?
Mr. Paging Charles Gorman. Are you there, Mr. Gorman?
I'm there. I'm just waiting for Jake and his crazy ass to get on here.
He probably just went to the bathroom for a minute. Can we all be just, in the words of the great Yoda, patience. Patience, my friend. Well, ladies and gentlemen, since Jake's doing his own thing, we're gonna wait patiently. We're gonna talk a little baseball, because baseball around here is very good to us. And before I do that, ooh, that's good. Yeah, we got some good games going on out here today. Yankees are doing good. Mets are doing great. Cubs are playing great baseball, and Tampa's going to be getting probably a new stadium, maybe somewhere down the road in the next 5 years, maybe. But we'll see what happens. Mr. Phantom, yes, I've been a Red Sox fan since 2003 because I've changed my ways. See, I'm a very different person. See, my personality is different. I eat Italian, I eat German, I eat British. Yes, I do have great taste. My thoughts is that my Juan Soto is actually one of the best baseball players out there right now as we speak. And what the Yankees did was, well, if you look at the Yankees now, they're strong. They got great talent and they got great players. And no, we're not gonna have battle of the chins. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna fight with Charles. Charles is a decent man, and to Peter Castro, ooh yeah, you know what I'm
You're a Red
saying.
Sox fan?
Since 2003 because it's because certain people are they've insulted my integrity for years, like Yankees this, Yankees that, yeah. It's like shut up, it's like blow it
What
out
was
your
your favorite Red Sox growing up? Was it Johnny Damon?
I'll give you a couple names. Nomar Garcia Parra, Johnny Damon was another, Mike Lowell, JD Drew, Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz, Pedro Martinez. The list of names I can think of, it's unreal. And no, I will not do no Jabba the Hutt. I am not Jabba the Hutt. I'm just a man with integrity. And you know what? To all you crybabies out here, this pitcher is so mismanaged, piss poor. It's inappropriate behavior. That's what's going to cost you in life. Now,
You
Mr.
like
Gorman.
David Ortiz, huh? I actually respected the hell out of Ortiz. Believe it or not, this is a true story. This is a true statement for me. I actually had more goosebumps every time David Ortiz stepped up to play against the Yankees than all the times Tom Brady played quarterback against the Jets.
Well, Tom Brady, I had no respect for because let me just say this. I've hated the Patriots for over 20 some years because all they've done has been steal our players, cheap shot everybody, and their checkbooks are so cheap. It is so mismanaged. I mean, let's look at it. New England, they're cheap. New York is expensive. We have top-notch billing. We have good checkbooks. You know why? Woody Johnson is a smart man. He knows when to balance a good checkbook. That's why if you look at the numbers, this is why we say we spend wisely instead of overspending. Thank you.
What is it, Jake?
That was a social experiment. Beast is terrified of the hole. So me just playing the alarms and him thinking he was being sent to the hole, he tries to leave very quickly to avoid the hole. I just wanted to confirm that. Yep.
But as I was saying, we need to be more optimistic. I know we need to see this coaching staff coach and really lead this team in the right direction. But for a Jets fan to be celebrating 5 wins, hey, if we get 5 wins, I'll drink a few beers, I'll get a tattoo, I'll go to a strip club. Like, that's stupid.
All right,
Be
so
more
what would it take for you to drink a few beers, get a
I
tattoo?
can't drink because of my medication.
Okay, so let's ignore the drinking. How about the other two options you laid out there, right? So it was
I'm not going to get a tattoo, and I'm done
tattoo
with
and
strip
strip.
clubs.
You're done. You're one and done at the strip club.
Yes,
You had a good time though.
it was all right.
No, don't
Maybe
give me
the
that.
other guy liked it more than me, but that wasn't me.
Who's the other guy?
You don't want to know.
There were like 5 of you there, so I do want to know actually.
There was me, and then there was the other side, my lustful side.
I see what you're saying now, Charles.
Yes.
I feel like you had a good
Anyway.
time.
Look, so it's my turn to talk. I understand a lot of Jet fans were tired of the BS for the past several years. We haven't won more than 7 games in about 10 years. We've won 10 games in 2015. After that, we haven't won more than 7. We need to see improvement from the coaching. You know, we can get all the talent in the world, but if they're not led in the proper direction, then what good is the talent? You know, talent alone doesn't equivalent to winning and greatness. Now, that's what I think would really hurt us last year. That we were so blinded by the talent we accumulated, we forgot all about the bad coaching. And I think that's what came up and bit us in the ass last year.
I think the coaching was outside of probably the Gase and Kotite years as bad as it's ever been for the Jets last year.
I agree. Saleh was a terrible coach. He's better off as a coordinator.
It wasn't even just Saleh. Like, Saleh was obviously not good, but Ulbrich, as bad as Saleh might have been, Saleh at least was an expert on his side of the ball. Like, the defense, once they fired Saleh, completely unraveled when Ulbrich had to step in to be the head coach. And he should have never been the interim, or he should have delegated the play calling responsibilities to someone else, or it should have been Middleton and you just leave Ulbrich in place.
True. Let me think.
Now let's talk more about your alter ego here. So your alter ego seems to like strip clubs, but you don't.
I like women, yes, but
We know that.
and it kind of corrupted my mind a little bit when I went to the Rio. If I see that girl again in the Rio, I'll apologize to her for creeping her out a bit.
What are you going to say?
I'm sorry.
And then what?
That's it.
What if she's like, for what? What are you going to say?
What?
You're going to say, I'm sorry, but then if she says, for what? What do you then say?
If I made you uncomfortable.
I see. Speaking of uncomfortable, Beastbreaker has requested to speak to you.
Go ahead.
Do I have your permission?
You can speak to me. I have no problem with Beast.
You're able to have a conversation with him?
Yeah, he's a Red Sox fan, I'm a Yankee fan. I've befriended many Red Sox fans. Of course, Big Fella will be like, or excuse me, the Bat Fella, they don't deserve our respect. Get the hell out of here with that crap.
Yep.
One of my teachers that I went to that I from freshman year was a Red Sox fan, and we got along just fine. Unless he wanted to be a rowdy whippersnapper and all that crap. I had various teachers that. I had a couple of teachers growing up that were Red Sox fans. I didn't care.
I see.
My dad taught me to talk to people, to have conversations with people, not to be disrespectful to people.
The great Dennis Gorman.
Yes, my father, yes.
Would you consider Dennis one of the greats?
I consider my father the greatest man I've known outside of my late grandfather.
You sure?
Yes. Why would I lie?
Well, what makes you so certain?
Because I've known my father all my life, and he's been good to me ever since.
Yeah, but how do you know he's the best father out there?
He's the best man I've known.
But
outside of my late grandfather.
But hold on a second. You're 29, right?
30.
30, okay. So you're 30 years old. You still got a lot of life left. You don't think there's a chance you might meet someone who's a better man than Dennis?
I'm not. Yeah, my late grandfather, but he's gone now.
Yeah, but my point is you still have a lot of life left. So there's a chance you can't rule out meeting someone greater.
I don't know about that, Jake, but I have met some great men in my life. One of my college professors who passed away a few years ago from cancer was a great man. My best friend Colin's father is a good man.
Dennis Gorman's watching the show. He says, I appreciate the kind words, son. I'm so proud of the man that you have become. I love you.
Dad.
See you at dinner.
I just had dinner. So, haha, that's not my father.
What did you have for dinner?
Cold cuts.
You had dinner kind of early, no? You just had dinner. It's not even 5:30 yet.
We had cold cuts. Don't worry about it.
What'd you have in your cold cut?
I had turkey, salami, and Jarlsberg Swiss.
Any gabagool?
I heard it's very salty and very spicy.
Let me check in with our resident sandwich expert. Beast, what do you think of the meal?
Very different. Wait, what was that you had? You had turkey, salami, and what was that again?
Jarlsberg Swiss.
Jarlsberg Swiss. Where did you get that from? The Jarlsberg.
We got the cold cuts from Fresh Grocer, where I live.
Oh, okay. Just well, I'm not a Swiss person. I like my mozzarella and provolone, but I'm not too crazy on certain things because if you get like I have problems with gas and I don't know what it is, but I'm not gonna talk about that. But you know what? Gabagool is actually really good, but not all the time. Not all the time. You got to stick to like water and actually, did you ever try Minute Maid?
I think I have the little cream thing, the little cheese thing.
No. They have a drink. There's a Minute Maid drink. They got fruit punch. They got berry mix. They got pineapple, orange, and all sorts of different ones. I actually tried it. They're actually good.
Minute Maid. I think I've had Minute Maid in the past. It's been a while since I've had one.
They're actually really good. And what's funny about the Minute Maid? They got more fruit in there. And this is what Gary needs to understand is fruits and vegetables are good for you. He has a thing of dementia about fruits and veggies and about something killing him. I keep telling him, dude, fruits and veggies are supposed to be good for you. They're healthy, they're strong, they're good, and they're A, B, C, D, E. Bobby, am I not going to be right about that?
Yep.
Hey,
That's
Bobby,
what Gary
how are you?
fails to understand because the man is so
No, he got good points. I'm more healthier than I've been in a while. So,
How you doing,
It's
Bobby?
like we try to
good. How
get
you
this
doing,
man to
Charles?
understand, and he just doesn't get a clue.
Oh,
It's
you see
like
rocking the jet set, Bobby. Nice.
Yep, that's
it's
what
like
Jake told me.
Gary, please get your head out of the toilet. Vegetables are supposed to be good for you. They're healthy. Fruits, they're
Well,
also
I don't
healthy.
eat a lot of vegetables, so there.
I do
Well,
a terrible job eating vegetables too, but I eat. I like spinach. I like
Ugh.
broccoli, depending on how
oh,
well
that's
it's
good.
cooked.
That's roughage. Very
I
good
like
roughage.
artichoke,
What
carrots.
that
I
artichoke? You
do
said?
like
Artichoke.
carrots and celery.
Celery I like. Carrots I like.
Carrots are actually good. They're actually good for you. They're healthy, but you know what you got to do? You got to look at two differences. There's GMO carrots, and then there's non-GMO carrots. I go with the non-GMO because they're actually a lot healthier for you, and also a good salad once in a while is good for you too. Because if you haven't had like roughage and you're all backed up, you got to get that roughage in you. Oh, Jake, leave them on the Chipotle. No, I wouldn't eat there. Did you know, Charles? Did you also know in the food chains department that Chipotle is one of the three worst? Your noise out. That's my eardrum. That's my eardrum. I can't have all that noise. Oh! The noise though, it hurts my ear. No, it hurts my goddamn ear.
Jake, stop that.
No! Can I talk here, please? Please. No, I do not eat the guinea pigs.
Did you eat the guinea pig?
No.
It's carnivore. You can eat a guinea pig
can-
if you want. I wouldn't eat my guinea pig, but you can eat a guinea pig if you want.
Can you say
carnivore.
gabagoo?
What?
Can
I
you
wanted
say
the whole. I
gabagoo?
wanted you, Charles, and Bobby, the health trio, the big three, the three horsemen of dietary health, to give me your advice on diet.
You go with non-GMO. That's why it's out there. You gotta read those labels carefully.
Just
Did
don't
you
eat.
also
Just don't eat any plants. If you just don't eat any, Charles had it
plants?
right.
No,
Charles
you
had-
don't touch the plants.
Yeah, you don't eat
That's
plants.
why.
Don't eat
That's why you
plants.
put them.
No.
That's why they invented gardens. Gardens are known for plants. You put plants in the garden to water them every couple of days to get
Don't eat them.
the right fruits and veggies on it.
You don't eat the plants.
No, you don't.
Don't eating plants.
You don't eat the plants. No, you're supposed to, dude. I get tomato plants. I used to get them a long time ago, but now they're like almost $5-6 for a plant, which is like ridiculous. But the thing is, all I'm trying to say is we don't eat the plants. We just take the food off the plants. That's what we're trying to explain. What part of that don't we understand? I mean, I'm trying to get points out here. Same with the carrots. You got to watch the carrots. You also got to watch with the apples, too. Did you also know when you go into the store, they have that little that Q&R code, you can see it very clearly. They have the number 4 on it. That 4 is the GMO department. You got to watch for that. That's no good for you.
Listen to me, Beef. You don't need to eat any plants. All you need is fatty meat and water. Eat fatty meat until you're satiated and drink 150 ounces of water a day, and you'll never have to worry about being overweight.
Well,
fatty meat until you're satiated.
Did you also forget?
A lot of water. 150 ounces of water a day. Easy.
Did you also know that Minute Maid also has a lot of fruit that you can have in there? There's apples, there's pears, there's oranges, there's pineapples. Yeah, Gary, go to a store once in a while and get some Minute Maid.
Barbarossa consumes an alcoholic poison that has diluted his brain so that his cells no longer work together, and then says not to take health advice from me. That's it. Alcohol and fructose are literally the 2 worst things that you can put in your body. Alcohol is actually addictive, and he voluntarily puts it in his body. You couldn't pay me enough money to put alcohol in my body, but you're going to take some advice from someone who pays money to dilute their brain so their brain cells don't work together. Really good job, Barbarossa. Really good job. I can't think of anything stupider than drinking alcohol.
For 3 years now, I haven't had a beer. I haven't had beer, whiskey, or tequila. You know what's good about you know what's good? I haven't had alcohol for 3 years, which is good because alcohol nowadays is no good for my body. I used to do a lot of that in high school, college, and after college, but now it's no fun no more. Those days are over with.
Do I seem heated, or do I seem like I always am? Where am I heated? This is me. This is who I am.
Hey,
this is how
you're being yourself. You're being yourself, Gary. All I'm saying is you're being yourself. I understand you got a few crazy takes, a few punches, and a couple lefts and right hooks. But you know what? At the end of the day, we all got to look at ourselves in the mirror and go, okay, we are of what we are, and we have to be of who we are. That's the way the world works. We can't change what we are. We're just different people. I remember what Rocky once said. Hey, if I could change, you could change. Is that correct?
I like how in that country, America was portrayed as the little guy underdog. The U.S. was. That's an interesting way to portray the Cold War. It was interesting.
Well,
we had no technology. We were the little man.
Well, let me just, Gary. In the 80s, we did not have the internet then. We did not even have that.
And neither did the Russians.
No, not yet. No.
Actually, that movie was made in 85. We had the very beginnings of an internet in 1985. The very foundation.
The internet in 85, we had the first thing we ever had was IBM. We had IBM and we had Apple. Those were the first 2 ones we ever had. And then as years went on, we started getting Windows and this Dell and whatever this other stuff that this new technology of today. I mean, the new technology of today. Look at what we have now. We got Windows 11, Windows 12. We have iPhone 15, 16. Everything is crazy nowadays. It's freaking crazy. Like, how much more can we go? I mean, the technology nowadays is it's vital versatile. It's like, how do you figure it out? I mean, look what we got now. I mean, the video games of today. We have Nintendo Switch. We got Xbox One. We got PS6. We're gonna probably have somewhere down the road, maybe 50 years.
Eating fatty meat's not gonna. The triglyceride question. I don't know where that went. I just missed that. If you have triglyceride issues, you should eat fatty meat.
PBM, I am right about one thing. We do have Windows 12. Pretty soon they're going to probably make Windows 13 and 14 and all this other crazy technology we have of today. Today's technology is insane. I mean, we have different things on our phone. We got weird apps like, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Instacart, and then all these other goofy stuff that we get nowadays. I don't know how the hell we get all this, but you know what? It's fine.
Don't eat processed meats. Don't eat processed meats, Ted. Don't.
One thing before you do anything. Before you do anything.
Fructose or what? Don't eat it.
High fructose corn syrup is disgusting. Yes, we have that here in the U.S.
Are the 2 worst things you can put in your body.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Hey, Gary.
See, they got what they want. What up, Australian? How are you?
I don't even know what they want us to fight about.
Yeah, I think someone called for it. We know who it was. There was someone in the chat that wanted us to rumble.
I wasn't even looking in the chat. Oh, well, I guess they're unlucky because I don't really have anything to rumble about.
Finish him. Finish him. I think my guess is that they wanted us to rumble about the conversation in the chat about that I called you a simp, and you said a simp for respecting women. I said no, a simp for saying you want to be led by women or getting
Was that
triggered
you?
or getting triggered by me saying men lead, women follow.
Was that you?
Yeah, that was me. That was me. That BK
Oh,
nothing but
well,
nets is me.
Well, basically, I've watched enough of you on this show to realize that there is absolutely nothing that will change your opinion. You're too narrow-minded, and so there's no point in arguing. Because no matter what I say, I'm not going to change your opinion. No matter what you say is
what
going
would
to
it
change
take
mine.
for me? Okay, so I'm narrow-minded, but you're not open to the fact that men should lead and women should follow. So by definition, what does that make you?
Okay, so I'm not saying
Just kind of answer the question, and then you can do your soliloquy later. Start with the answer, and then you can do your whole monologue after that.
What's your question?
If I'm narrow-minded, because I took the opposite position, and you're opposed to the idea that men should lead and women should follow, would that
I'm not opposed
also
to
make
that.
you? Oh, so men should lead and women should follow.
I don't think they should, but I think they can.
Okay.
I definitely think they can. But what my point is that it doesn't always have to be like that. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with men leading, but I don't have a problem with women leading either.
Okay, so you don't have a problem with women leading. So you're narrow-minded on that issue. You're not open-minded on that issue, correct?
Well, what makes me narrow-minded if I'm open to both perspectives?
No. You're open that you're not open to the idea that women shouldn't lead. You're not open to that idea,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, I'm not.
So that would be by definition narrow-minded. So when you call me narrow-minded, you were being a narrow-minded hypocrite. Is that not correct?
Not necessarily, because
not
you're
necessarily,
saying
because you
no.
said
So
you're not open.
you're saying that it can only be one way. You're saying
open-minded to the fact that women should never lead. You're not open-minded to that fact. So by definition, you're narrow-minded. So that, and you accuse me of being narrow-minded. So that would make you a narrow-minded hypocrite. Is that correct? Or what have I gotten wrong there?
Well, the way you're spinning it, it's going to look like that.
I took your words. You called me narrow-minded, and you took the exact opposite.
Yes, because you're not open.
Position.
You're not open to any other perspective.
You're not open. It's neither are you.
I told you before. I told you before. I'm going to disagree with you, but I respect.
And I'm going to disagree with you. But
what
then
you think.
started name calling because you disagree with me. I didn't call you a name until you called me that same name out of the clear blue sky.
What did I call you? Oh, narrow-minded.
You called me narrow-minded, right? Okay, fine.
Yes,
then
because
by
you are.
By that same definition, so are you.
But I can accept your opinion, and I accept that that's the opinion you have.
Then you're the very thing you accused me of, correct?
Not necessarily.
You called me narrow-minded.
Yes, you are.
You're closed-minded to my position. That would make you narrow-minded. The very thing you accused me of. So that would make you a narrow-minded hypocrite.
No.
Okay. Explain how that would not make you a narrow-minded hypocrite.
Well, one, because I'm open to men leading and women following, like you said it should be.
My position, which is that women should never lead men. You are not open to that position. So you're narrow-minded to that position. So that would make you a narrow-minded
Well, yeah, but that is
that's
such
not my
a small example. That is such a small example. That is such a so you're basically saying that you can't disagree with anything without it being narrow-minded. Because from your perspective,
that was your position. That was what you came on and said about me.
From your perspective,
now you don't like it when your position was used against you because you're a narrow-minded hypocrite.
You know what? I really don't care.
Came on. You came on. You called me narrow-minded. I used your same words against you that you used at me, and then you didn't like it.
You can think I'm narrow-minded. I don't care.
I don't care if you are or you aren't. You came to use it against me as an insult, and then I turned it back on you using your same logic, and you didn't like it.
Gary, I got a question for you.
What's up, Indy?
Hey, Gary. So let me ask you this: do you let your wife make decisions?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I let my wife make decisions.
Okay, so isn't it if she's making a decision, is that considered a leadership role?
No, because I let her make the decision.
Oh, you let her, so she's not actually making the decision. You are.
No, she's making the decision. I'm saying it's your decision, baby.
No,
Make the
no,
decision.
it's either no. You either let her. It's your decision, or she's making the decision. Which is it?
No, I'm letting her make decisions. There are certain decisions I allow her to make.
That you allow her. So in essence, you've made the decision for her, right?
Or I make the decision that she can make the decision. If that's the kind of a all right.
Now look what you've done, Gary. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
Mimosa had enough of Gary today, apparently. The funniest part about that whole thing was at the beginning, Gary and AJF were like, yeah, we really don't have anything to rumble about. It's amazing. Black Gypsy's on the line. Wow, what's up, Black Gypsy?
What's up, Jake?
How
So
are ya?
I'm good, man. I've been working. That's why I just been typing and shit, talking as much shit as possible.
Yeah,
So
you've been going after Beast pretty hard, man. I
I'm,
want you
I'm
guys
gonna
to become
keep,
friends.
I'm gonna keep on going after Beast. I actually don't mind Beast now. I get what you see in Beast. But I like
He makes
doing
some
what he
salient points.
yeah I like doing what he does to us back, and he doesn't like it. So that's where it's like, come on, man. Like if you come on here and you say a whole bunch of stuff, and we have to take it. You're like, I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm gonna see you. And then when we can make fun of you, it's a picture. Like I get you're a guinea pig or whatever, but I'm here for the jokes. I am here for the jokes, bro. And as to Gary, so Gary made a statement, and from the day he made it, I wanted to call in, but I was just working. My mom was a single mom. My mom led us, took care of us. My dad wasn't the greatest person. My mom was a G. You know what I mean? Like I've had many of female leaders that are awesome. Not all of them are awesome. Just like not all men are awesome. But there's females that play a role and make decisions. So if they make a decision, they're leading. They chose to do something. You follow. Sometimes they're better than us at certain things, so we have to follow them. So to that, Gary, you're bugging, bro. Like you're bugging. And like you stay with. And what's the name is correct. It's not that he's narrow-minded. It's that once he focuses on what you said, he can't separate and link two comments together.
Right.
Like he has to focus on the words that you said and then battle the words. Like use the
Rather than have a
concept.
nuanced discussion, he
Yeah.
tries to just attack and take one point and then flip it, twist it, turn it against you. And it's like,
So he can be right at
Right.
the end of it. Like,
It's
and that comes from someone not knowing how to be wrong. Like if you've been wrong in situations, you have to know how to eat it and laugh it off. He's never laughed it off. It's always I'm gonna fight for what I believe because it matters so much. You're on like a chat. It's supposed to be funny. You getting mad at Australian Jets fan? Well, what he was saying is kind of factual. All right. As the Beast, if he does Job of the Hut, I'll stop making fun of him. I swear to God, just one Job of the Hut, and I'll stop making fun of him. That's a
Now-
pretty good deal.
I think we're gonna have to work towards this because I don't think Beast is very fond of you right now. So
Oh,
it's
he's
gonna
not.
be tough.
Beast
How,
hates me.
how about you do this, Black Gypsy? Say something nice about little Joey. We know Beast obviously loves his pet. He's a great guinea pig father.
Little Joey is awesome. Little 666. Joey, you know what I mean? I got you, Beast. I got you. I love my pets also. I mean, but the picture is funny. The picture is hilarious. And if I can laugh at it, you should be able to laugh at it.
Beast, what do you say? Is that good enough for you?
Got a little bit of a headache from Gary. He gave me a big one today. I have
Yeah,
to go
got
get yeah, I got the headache from the back of my head from Gary. Him going, this and this and this. Like, dude, you're giving me a headache.
Beast. Beast, if you do Jabba the Hutt, I'll stop making fun of you. That's all you had to do. See how simple that was?
Oh, no, chico, shall we? Shall meet you?
Oh, the fact that you know that is hilarious.
I've been a Star Wars guy since I was 5 years old.
Yeah. Hell
You
yeah,
know what?
Beast.
What do I have right here? A Star Wars figure. You know who that is? The great Luke Skywalker from 77.
Zoom.
And you know what? Half those toys that I got, let me just say this. 30 years from now, they're going to be worth 2, 3, 4, 500, maybe $600. Half the
Hey,
stuff that
Beast.
I have costs thousands of dollars.
Hey, Beast. If you're nicer, people will stop making fun of you. Like, just be a little bit nicer. Just a little bit nicer.
I'm like Tony Soprano. I see what I see. And if I see a light wallet, you know what comes next. You got 24 hours.
How does being nicer and Tony Soprano go in the same context, Beast?
You were so close. Damn it.
Like, it was right there. Like, I would do it. No.
And you know what else goes good with that? Read them and weep.
Beast. We're making progress, Beast. We are. I think there was progress made there overall, Black Gypsy.
Slowly, I'll stop making fun of him. I had my fill. I mean, after he cried today, I was like, So, man, we're good. Love calling in. Love y'all. JETS.
Ladies and gentlemen, Black Gypsy, who I'm telling you, he is not a 16 seed if he becomes more of a regular. He made the tournament as a testament to every time he's on the air. There's some great moments like what we just saw. Great call. We're pretty close to I think really unlocking something though with Beast. That was good stuff. All right, a couple of super chats here that I want to get caught up on. Knob, in response to Gary, I let her make decisions, so I feel like there's one important enough for me to take over the decision-making process. It's called generosity. Australia Jetfed says Gary is full of shite. Rick says Gary may not always be right, but he's never wrong. Oscar says Gary always finds a way, Jake. That's why he's one of the greats. It's true. Can't argue with that. All right, we're nearing the end of the program here. I'm going to the Yankee game later, so I can't be on forever. So let's rapid fire through the last remaining calls. Shane is up next. What's up, Shane?
The last 20 minutes have been crazy.
Can we get to the draft? We're going to find a way somehow.
Yeah. Well, I'm going back to for the coaching staff. I feel like one big sign. I want this game to be really week 3 or something at Bill Stadium against the Bills. We've lost that game 5 years in a row, and I think the past 3, it's just been horrendous by the Jets.
They've been annihilated. Yeah, it's been bad.
I feel like if it's not even if it's competitive, every time they're at MetLife, it's competitive. We lost by 2 last year. I was at that game. That was a sweet game to be at, but we did lose by 2 points because of missed field goals. But every time they're at MetLife, it's so close. But whenever we go there, it's literally the worst. I can't watch the full game.
Yeah, it's been a house of horrors. I mean, they were in the game that Mike White got hurt in. That was a game right before the half. I remember C.J. Mosley tried to Troy Polamalu it and got the offsides penalty.
Yeah, but I just feel like if we get a win there, that will give I feel like the confidence from just the locker room, considering they've gone there the past 2 years, and I feel like after that game, Garrett Wilson has just been I'm kind of done. Especially last year, they got blown out, and he seemed so upset with just the team.
You got to win, man. I mean, these guys all want to win. They get frustrated. Garrett cares. I love that. He wants to win. And that's why it's 5 wins. It's fun. No, man, let's go. Let's go 9-8, 10-7. Let's have a higher standard for trying to win.
I can't do 5 wins. I just can't. 5 wins and there's nothing to look forward to. I feel like at least 8 wins, it's so improvement at least. There's something to look forward to. 5 wins, it's what are we doing?
Well, even the Lions were 9-8 after year 2. But remember, they ended that season winning a bunch down the stretch. They just missed the playoffs on tiebreakers. They beat Rodgers in his last game in Green Bay, and they carried that into 2023.
Yeah, and then,
Or-
they've
you
been on
know?
fire ever since.
So that's I want this year. If they're not, they're not winning the Super Bowl, right? In all likelihood.
No.
So could we have a fun season? Like that'd be awesome. Like that should be the goal.
That's also another reason I want Tyler Warren. Is just get someone, because O-line we could always get next year. Because I think playoffs is best case, wild cards best case. And if that's the case, it's like get the star that you know is there. Tyler Warren's probably going to be a solid tight end at the minimum. And then next year you could finish the O-line. You could get like a plug-in for 1 year, and then just move on to the next year. Because I feel like Olu's there. That's like 4 of the O-lines set, and then they just gotta get a star, because we only have Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall, I'm not too sure about right now. I don't know.
I think he'll be on the team.
Well, that's all I got.
Shane, thank you very much. What did you think of Beast Breaker's guinea pig, little Joey?
Oh, he's great. I feel like Beast needs more animals. He should get like a little pig or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe we'll send Beast a pig.
That sounds like a great idea. I feel like they'd get along.
Love it, ladies and gentlemen. Shane checking in. Beast, would you take care of a pig? Studying the tape again, Beast? You there? What do you think? Pig? Give me an oink. Oink, oink. I don't want to ruin this for you, Beast, but Neil told me his favorite food is bacon.
Wait, let me remain that there. I was just doing a little bit of research and checking upon some things. But for the future, I see ourselves going with a brand new look. We got the iPhone 16 coming up. We have all these other weird gizmos coming out. All this new stuff, this new technology, this HP. Probably in the near future, will probably be up.
Beast, thank you very much. More of your calls right now. Papa Jet is on the line, and let's say hello to the great Papa Jet. Papa, how are you?
How you doing, Jake?
What's up, Papa?
Let me move my thing there. Hey, Gary getting thrown in the hole with the boxing gloves and that, is that new or has that been around a while?
We've had that, but it had been a while since I've had to use that one because Gary hasn't really been sent to the hole much lately.
Okay. Because during your shows I'm working and I'm kind of looking at my screens and sometimes I'm in meetings and I miss stuff, but that's the first time I saw it, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point in time where Gary was being sent to the hole a lot, so we made that to be prepared. But he really hasn't been honestly, with Allen not calling in, we don't have to use the Allen one as much. We don't really use the BMAC one anymore because he doesn't call. So some of our custom hole videos we can't really use right now.
Yeah, I haven't seen BMAX either. BMAC or VMAC?
Who's VMAC?
Or V-Man, right? V-Man. Okay, so BMAC, I got you. You know which one's been cracking me up lately, though, is the street view from Beast House, where he's talking
That's his
out
actual
the
house, by the way. It's amazing that Beast hasn't said anything. That's his actual home that Gator was able to use. People probably think it's some random house. Beast will tell you this is his actual home, but he's yet to comment on it.
Right now, we're getting some gabagool. If you really want some gabagool, you got to come get the gabagool. Catch you later.
That's awesome. It makes me laugh every time. And speaking of Beast, I know yesterday he said, what was it? He said that was funny. You learn the game to win the game, something like that. But another.
Yeah, I got to get the exact quote. I forgot to write it down after the show yesterday, but it was very salient.
Yeah. Another good one that probably went under the radar because that one overtook it was you and him were on a call with somebody and he said, all you need is 3 square meals and 1 good shit. That was another good one, you know.
I think it's a George Carlin quote.
Okay, I don't know.
He might have butchered it because that's the genesis of the first quote you referenced. He was trying to quote Herm Edwards. But, okay. Yeah.
Well, he's at least good remembering all this crap, you know.
Hey, but, he's in the cycle. If you need to know something from like 1995 or before, Beast is your guy.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoy their call. Gary too. They all, like I said, they all play a part, you know. But as far as the draft, Jake, I'm usually if there's a position on the lines that we need, I'm usually that kind of guy for the draft picks. But the more I think I'm locked in on Warren, and because, you know, we signed Fields whether he's a bridge quarterback or not, most likely he is. But you got to give the kids some weapons, you know. And right now we don't have any, right? We got Garrett Wilson. I'm talking receiving, you know. So I'm locked into Warren, and actually second round, I'm locked into like a wide receiver. Any of the good one, you know, like the two Iowa State kids or the Ohio State kid falls. Just one of those decent wide receivers. I'm all in locking second round, and we'll get our O-line and D-line in the third and fourth. So
I'm with you. If they did that, I would have no problem with that.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. But that's all I got for today, Jake.
Papa Jet, always a good call. Good perspective. Thank you. South Ass is on the line. Hello, South Ass.
Jake, what's going on? Can you hear me? It's a little windy out here.
Yeah, we hear you a little bit. I see the dog there. That's tremendous.
Yep, I'm out here walking the new dog. Got him a couple weeks ago, about a month now. So, big
What's his
Zeus.
name? Zeus?
Zeus. Can you hear me?
Love it.
I don't got my headphones on, my bad. But yeah, just if my audio is not terrible, I think we gotta go offensive line in the first round, second round tight end, third round we can go wide receiver or anywhere else. I don't really care, but I don't think we can go tight end first round. I know you're a Warren guy. I haven't watched a ton of the tape, but I just think some of the second tier tight ends we can maybe turn into Laporta, you know. So that's all I got to say, really. Just wanted to call in. It's been a while. Went on a long walk with this guy.
I love it. South End, you have a great walk, man. Yeah, look, I see the argument. If there was a wide receiver that was the equivalent of Warren and they deem that guy worthy, take him. I don't think the Jets are going to take Ted McMillan at 7. I don't think they're going to take Matthew Golden at 7. So I would hope they could trade back and maybe take one of those guys. You know, they really trade back, and Meke Ibuka, I think, is going to be a really good player. I wouldn't mind him either. Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps our final caller. It's time.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hello, Mr. Jake.
David, how are you?
I am really good. Life is good. Where are we starting off here? Oh, I lose it. There's so much good stuff. I have my eye on Tyler Warren, and your previous show this morning, you had Neil on, and I guess he was thinking about me, and he played my intro, and I was flattered. You know, I have utmost respect for Mr. Neil. And the only other thing I'd like to say is the Beast, he has so much love for animals. I was wondering whether he ever considered fostering guinea pigs. My brother and sister-in-law, you know, they've always had golden retrievers. Now the grandchildren are coming, so they don't do it anymore. But they've, for a couple of years, they've fostered golden retrievers. So that's all I got on my mind.
Now, what do you think of little Joey? Do you think that little Joey's in good hands with Beast? You're confident?
Oh my God, the Beast! He has so much love. Little Joey is, you know the animal lovers. I mean, the Beast is, little Joey is very cool.
It's kind of ironic that a guy named Beastbreaker has such a soft spot for an animal, you know?
Yeah, you know, the Beast Breaker, he comes off as tough. You know, I've had, you know, in my family, you know, my dad, my uncles, they talk tough, but they got such soft hearts. So I think that's the Beast. He's, you know, and I'm so glad that the Beast got his internet straightened out, because it's such a delight to listen to him now.
I agree. David, you are the man, my friend. I appreciate you calling in as always.
Thank you.
I got my Iron UJ. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
David T, everybody. All right, we've gone 2 hours and not one membership has been gifted. So I'm going to gift one right now. So if you want a membership, like the video, be subscribed to the channel. I'm going to give everyone 10 seconds that hasn't done that to do it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm gifting a membership right now. Ladies and gentlemen, a membership has been gifted. Let's find out who gets it as we wrap up our program here shortly. Listener, Philly Boy De Niro is the recipient of the channel membership that I just gifted. Let's go.
Oh, my bad, everybody.
Tremendous. Tremendous. Come meet Charles Gorman at our draft party. And by the way, Philly Boy De Niro, I am putting you in the raffle. I'm not entering myself. Our prizes this week, Jets first round picks, signed Revis photo, signed Sauce jersey, signed Keyshawn helmet, signed Altoon helmet, and a signed Kenny O jersey are jerseys of greatness and champions. Appreciate all of you. Make sure, Ryan, I apologize. I was going to get to this earlier. Here we go. Every helmet chat is a salient moment, Jake. Let's cheers it up at the party. Shout out to all the Asmaniac brothers in the chat. Love you all. We will see you soon, Ryan. Since he met, Gary is great, just not for the reasons he thinks he is. Jet set go. Not sure what to use my member chat for. So can I get the OG Bobby Midnight song? P.S. Like the video. Dag nabbit. The OG Bobby Midnight song? I'm not sure which song that is. You mean just one of the intros, or we have a lot of Bobby Midnight songs. Black Gypsy says, Beast won me over with Jabba the Hutt. Amen. Robert Morris has gifted 5 channel memberships. There we go. Appreciate you, Robert Morris. You literally got in at the buzzer.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
All right, these are from Robert here before we wrap. No way. Feed the Fat Rabbit. Hype. Michael Panza. Mad Team 3 Parents. And Jonathan Buckner, all receiving channel memberships. All right. Thank you all. We're back tomorrow. Matt O'Leary starts the day at 10 a.m. with us. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Buy your draft ticket if you haven't. Join the Patreon and get in the Discord if you want to be a part of the community there. Highly recommend that you do that if you haven't already. My name is Jake Asman. This has been another epic, thrilling Jake Asman program. Thank you all again for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon. JETS. Jets.
Let's go to Doug on the couch. Hey, Doug, I see you're still on the couch.
Hey, Fake, thanks for taking my call. I got some bad news to share. It looks like I'm going to be stuck on this couch for another 6 to 8 months. I just found out I have no desire to get off this thing ever again.
Damn, Doug, that's awful. Is there anything I can do to help?
It's okay. I mean, they're coming tomorrow to install a toilet in the third cushion seat. And I got to stop using this diaper because I've got a huge rash that burns like you wouldn't believe. Thank God for Uber Eats, though. I found another service called Door to Couch. Tying that shit just right, and the food is brought to me right here. Loving life, Fake. Go Jets.
Yeah, go Jets.
So, guys, it looks like Glenn, another defensive coordinator without head coaching experience.
Great.
Was that a fart?
Excuse me.
I can taste it on my tongue.